So I like to say Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. So this video, I'm going to title this video, Can We Eat Whatever We Want? Let me repeat that. Can we eat whatever we want? And, Christians, they love using Mark 7:15, Romans 14:7, Genesis 9:3, Acts 10:10. And there's other scriptures also that they use to justify if we could eat abominable, what they would call foods, but it's abominable foods, right? Meats that you shouldn't eat. So real quick, we're going to go ahead and grab the book of Leviticus, the 11th chapter and the first verse. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts are on the earth. Whatsoever part of the hoof and is cloven-footed and end cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that cheweth the cud, or of them that divideth the hoof, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. So the Lord gave us what we will call today a dietary law, right? Meats that we can eat and meats that we are not supposed to eat. Christianity teaches you that the law is done away with and we don't have to keep the law because we are under Christ. So we can eat whatever we want to eat. So let me get something that Christ said. This is Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. The Lord said, Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. This is out of Christ's mouth. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. This is what this came out of Christ's mouth. Christ told us, if you break the least commandment, you will be the least in the kingdom of heaven. If you keep and teach the commandments, you shall be the greatest, called great in the kingdom of heaven. So I want to grab Mark the 7th chapter, because this is one of the verses that Christians use to say we can eat whatever we want to eat. Mark 7:15, right? Let's get it. Let's start up at 14. And when he had called all the people unto him, he said unto them, Hearken unto me, every one of you, and understand. There is nothing from without a man that entereth into him can defile him, but the things which come out of him, those are they that defile the man. So Christians will use it to say, see, it ain't what you put in your mouth that would defile you. It's what comes out of your mouth. So now we're going to start up and get the context of what's being said. Christ isn't telling you that by eating defiled foods, you're not going to become undefiled. That's not what he's saying. That's not the context of what's going on in Mark the 7th chapter. So let's get what's going on in Mark the 7th chapter. We have to go into the context. If we go off what Christians say, then yeah, we're going to go around eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, all of that. because they take a passage out of the Bible and say, look, we can eat whatever we want. They go into Genesis the 9th chapter. They go into Acts the 10th chapter, and not reading a context of what it's actually talking about. Mark 7:1. Then came together unto him the Pharisees and certain of the scribes which came from Jerusalem. So the Pharisees and scribes which came from Jerusalem, let's keep going, and when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, so it says, and when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, that is to say, with unwashing hands, they found fault. So just imagine that the Pharisees and Sadducees are walking up and they see the disciples and they seeing them eating bread and their hands were dirty. This is the context of what's going on in the scriptures. Here in Mark the 7th chapter, it says, for the Pharisees and all of the Jews, except they wash their hands off, eat not, holding to tradition of the elders. So this was the tradition of men. You're not going to go into the law and find where you're breaking the law for not washing your hands. So keep in mind that the context of Mark the 7th chapter is talking about unwashed hands. And when they came from the market, except they wash, they eat not. And many other things there be which they have received to hold, as the washing of cups and pots, brassing vessels, and of tablets. Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, why walk not thy disciples according to the tradition of the elders? So they're saying, hey man, why don't y'all follow the tradition of the elders? So let's keep going. But eat bread with unwashing hands. He answered and said unto them, well, as Isaiah prophesied of you hypocrites. Now why did he call them hypocrites? Matthew 23:23. The Lord said, follow after what they say, but follow not after what they do, because the Pharisees were hypocrites. For though they taught the law, they didn't keep the law. That's why he called them hypocrites. Why else would he call them hypocrites? If Christ came so we don't have to keep the law, then why call the Pharisees and Sadducees hypocrites? There was no reason for that. But he called them hypocrites because they did not keep the law even though they taught it. As it is written, this people honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men, for laying aside the commandment of God. What is the commandment of God? Leviticus, Exodus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. The Lord quoted the book of Exodus himself in the book of Matthew, the 19th chapter. Let's keep going. Ye hold the tradition of men, as the washing of pots and cups, and many other such like things ye do. And he said unto them, full well ye reject the commandment of God, just like Christians do. They reject the commandments of God by saying we don't have to keep the commandments of God. We don't have to keep the law. That ye may keep your own traditions. Christians keep their own traditions by eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, right? Come on, man. For Moses said, honor thy father and thy mother. Wait, hold up. Wait, is this a law? Is this a law that the Lord is about to quote? That's in Exodus the 20th chapter. And whoso curses father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, if a man shall say to his father or mother, it is Corban, that is to say, a gift by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, he shall be free. And ye suffer him no more to do aught for his father or his mother. Right? So the Pharisees and Sadducees were hypocrites because they didn't keep the traditions of God. They didn't honor their father and mother. The scriptures tell you that when your father and mother come of age, you're supposed to take care of them. The Pharisees and Sadducees were not doing that. They were hypocrites. This is why he called them hypocrites, because they taught the law, they didn't keep the law. It says, making the word of God of none effect through your traditions, which ye had delivered, and many such like things do ye. And when he had called all the people unto him, he said unto them, hearken unto me, every one of you, and understand. There is nothing from without a man that entereth into him can defile him, but the things which come out of him. This is what Christians will use to say, look, we can eat pork, we can eat shrimp, we can eat lobster, we can eat all of these defiled things, because they're not going to defile us if we eat them. So let's read it again. There is nothing from without a man that entereth into him can defile him. Remember, the context of what this is talking about is unwashed hands. It have nothing to do with eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobsters. It have nothing to do with that. This doesn't even have anything to do with eating clean meats. This is not the context of what Mark the 7th chapter is talking about. But the things which come out of him. What will come out of him? Commit adultery. Like Christians teach, you don't have to keep the law. Right? You can eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. What is coming out of you is defiling you, because you're telling them to keep the traditions of men and not the commandments of God. That's what Jesus just said, who you call Jesus. We didn't have to keep the law, then why is Jesus talking about the commandments of God? Answer that question. Why is he talking about the commandments of God? So again, there is nothing from without a man that entereth into him can defile him, but the things which come out of him. See, we can eat pork, we can eat shrimp, we can eat lobster, we can eat the things that the Lord told us not to eat, because if they go in you, they're not going to defile you. But again, that's not what he's talking about, man. He's talking about the unwashed hands, the traditions of men. They taught that if you ate with unwashed hands, you were defiled. It says, but the things which come out of him, those are they that defile the man. If any man have ears to hear, let him hear. And when he was entered unto the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. And he said unto them, are ye not so without understanding also? Do ye not perceive that whatsoever things from without entereth into the man, it cannot defile him, because it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out unto the drought, purging all meats? Because that's what your body does. When you go and eat something, for an example, if you go to the store and buy some lamb, right? If you go to the store and buy some chicken, what is your body going to naturally do? It's going to break it down and it's going to purge it out of your body. That's what the Lord is telling them. So if you eat something, it's going to do exactly what the body should do. Purge it out of you. And it says, do ye not perceive that whatsoever thing from without enter into a man, it cannot defile him, because it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out unto the drought, purging all meats? And he said, that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. For from within, out of the heart of man, perceive evil thoughts, adultery. Wait, hold up. Is we quoting here the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter, the laws of God? Adultery. What did he say? He said adultery, fornications, murders, theft, covetous, wickedness. Wait, what? I know I'm not here in Exodus, the 20th chapter. So, if the Lord is talking about the laws in Exodus, the 20th chapter, then wait, I thought the Lord said that we can eat whatever we want to eat, according to Christians. So what the hell is wickedness? If the Lord quoting the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter, then what the hell is wickedness? Theft, covetous, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, proud, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile a man. And from thence he arose and went unto the borders of Tyre and Sidon, and entered into the house, and would have no man know it, but he could not be hid. For a certain woman whose young daughter and an unclean spirit heard of him, and came and fell at his feet. And that's the problem with Christians, man. They take one passage of the Bible and say we can eat whatever we want to eat, and then they will use that and feed it to the people, teaching to break the least commandment of God. It's crazy to me, man. It's crazy to me. And you people feed into it, man, because you don't understand the context of the Bible. That's why the scriptures, I think that's in Matthew 22. The scripture says you err not knowing the scriptures. You err not knowing the scriptures. You err not knowing the Bible, man. You're not reading the context right. All this is about is the unwashed hands. You eat with unwashed hands, that's not going to defile you, man. But what comes out of you is what's going to defile you. If you tell somebody not to honor their mother and father, that's going to defile you. If you tell somebody to eat the unclean meats, that's going to defile you. If you tell somebody to commit sin, that's going to defile you. That's what the Lord is saying. That's all he's saying. Remember, the Lord didn't come to destroy the law or the prophets. He came to fulfill. And what did he say? If you break the least commandment, you become the least in the kingdom of heaven. If you teach and keep the commandments, you're going to be great in the kingdom of heaven. The Lord isn't going to tell you that, then turn around and tell you can eat whatever you want to eat. That's not the context of Mark the 7th chapter. That's not the context of Genesis the 9th chapter. That's not the context of 1 Corinthians the 10th chapter, or Romans the 14th chapter, or Acts the 10th chapter. Read context. Get some understanding. If he that have an ear, let him hear. But I want to say shalom.